Sugar trying to play me, and now they hate me. Now when I come around, got them screaming, oh she fame me. When I turn around, got them clicking, trying to paste me. Better pipe down before it get messy. What's up, my parties, my lovelies? Welcome to his house. I know you're doing fine, so let's get right into it. A lot of people are probably wondering why Queen is still with Clarence, right? And it's become this train, especially since allegedly it came out that maybe the allegations could have been true because the woman who was said entertaining the situation said that it did indeed happen. Okay, so, or she said he was a cheater. I don't know if she said anything about the incident, but she said something about him being a cheater. And she said something about, I think she said something about Clarence too. But anyway, so it had people probably just wondering why is Queen still with Clarence. And I want to get into this because, let's just look at the reasons, right? Because at the end of the day, Queen just bought a new house with Clarence. So she needs time to enjoy that house. Isn't that? She probably worrying about that right now. Her kids, her son just came back. He was with his father for a good period of time. She probably enjoying her son and worrying about getting a house together because she said she want to add a few things, get rid of a few things, so forth and so on. And, that situation came about or whatever as well, even though allegedly the house was broken into before they went on that trip. And I think Clarence was saying that's one reason why they had scheduled a trip, not because of the situation coming out with Chris, but because somebody tried to break into their lovely new, well, I don't know if it was an old home, a new home, or what, but somebody tried breaking into their situation. And that's just unnerving under any circumstance, under any level. So, especially when you have yourself being tried and your property vandalized or damaged, it's going to put you in a different mind space to where some things are just not as important as other things. And the things you may not have thought were important or to think about become just a little bit more important. And if you don't know, yeah, I probably made up a word. That's okay. Let's keep it moving. Okay. So at the end of the day, it's like, she did speak of several times about being married and wanted to be married. And I guess she wanted to maybe say, okay, I'm not just a baby mother, I was a wife. And that makes sense. Like, if I definitely would want to say that too. Yeah, I may have had his child, but he eventually made me his wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get that because I never wanted to be a baby mama. So I respect her for that. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of if it works or not, try your best. Because at the end of the day, it's easy to say, I'm done. I'm out of here. Forget that. And this and that. Because for some reason, it's easier to leave instead of work things out. Or stay in a situation and be like, what can I learn from this situation? What is the situation trying to teach me? Like, how is the situation making me bigger, better, a better person? And it just is what it is. You're going to learn a lesson either way. You're going to learn a lesson if you stay. You're going to learn a lesson if you leave. So, hey, she's there with her son's father. So, hey, that's a win. They just bought a new house. And so regardless of what people are saying or in negativity going around, she probably has priorities in other directions right now. She's probably enjoying other things and not really focusing on the negative. And at the end of the day, you are the creator of your own story. You know what I'm saying? You can't just let somebody tell you, oh, you don't need to be with this person. Or why is this person with you? Like, that's something you and that person have to figure out, regardless of if people are going to understand, people are going to get it. It's not really for everybody to understand your situation. So I commend her on showing her strength, because at the end of the day, she could have easily, folded and said, you know what, I ain't going to be able to do it. Just because of the way people were looking at her. Because I know in some form it had to be somewhat embarrassing. But at the same time, she focusing on her career, her music. I think she's about to do a song with NBA Youngboy, or it's already been put in place, or whatever. She's been going to different parties, events, and she even mentioned something about going back to school. Or she said she wondered about watched, something about school. I don't know. She talked about wanting to be married. She even went on a show before all the situation came out and said that she really felt like Clarence was going to marry her one day. Whether or not other people believe that, we're not in a relationship, to be honest. I don't know what he tells her, So she may really feel like, okay, he gonna marry me one day. Okay, cool. And like I said, I can see her wanting to be a wife, and I get that. Even though, when you get out of marriage, that's where the more of the tricky situation comes in, because then you got to fight over this and fight over that, or make sure people are satisfied with what they get if they do choose to leave. And I would admit, I wanted to be married just to say I've been married. Not saying it's good or bad. Well, I always keep talking about myself too much. It's not even about me, but just period. Sometimes people just want to say that. And if she does happen to marry him, you can't ever say, well, she was just the baby mama, or she was just getting played. She was actually a wife. So we don't know what she had planned, what she got up her sleeve, whatever. She could be reflecting. She could be monitoring. She could be making adjustments to herself to maybe like, okay, what can I change about myself? Or what do I need to reflect on and do different? And maybe if he is doing that, or he's thought about that he won't want to do that anymore. But at the end of the day, I kind of feel like I know why the situation happened, but it's just all really about immaturity. People do things when they're immature, and it rubs people the wrong way, okay? And then they grow up, and sometimes people can't forget that stuff. People can't move on from certain stuff, and it just turns into a bigger situation. Or, wow, I don't like what you said, so I'm going to make you feel what you did to me, or this and that. So people just act out in different ways depending on their maturity level, their growth, their situation. And just to say she is deciding to get rid of Clarence, what would it do for her? Let's say she already left one person who cheated on her, and then she got with Clarence, who allegedly, people are saying maybe a cheater and cheated on her. And no, I definitely don't think Clarence is just cheating on everybody. I mean, her like all the time. I'm not saying that, but I ain't gonna say I don't feel like he's innocent. Okay, but anyway, back to the situation at hand. All right, so back to the situation at hand. But she allegedly left a cheater, so that's one thing women got to realize. A man cheating does not have anything to do with you as a woman, a female, a person. It has mostly and everything to do with the man, how he feels about a situation, himself, a thing, or whatever. Ego, like sometimes you can just bruise their ego and they want to go cheat. Simple as that. Or somebody there's a baddie and you try to hit them up, they make you feel like you're a better man and you do that. Or maybe it's because peer pressure of your friend and you do that. But it had nothing to do with the woman. So cheating really does need to be separated out the equation, because just imagine, let's say you have everything perfect and that one little thing ruins it all. And sure, nobody wants to be cheated on, but at the same time, who's to say you leave, you pack up everything, and the next person won't do something that you don't like? Not saying it is cheating, but it could be anything. Let's say they go hit somebody with a chair and end up in a concussion. They in prison. It's like, you just never know. You just never know what people may do that you don't like, but it could be worse than what you left. Or it could be different than, not about the same, or not much better than what you already are leaving for. So that's the easy way out. I would say that staying, at least you're trying to work on a situation, see if it improves, give people benefit of a doubt, and I definitely don't feel like you should ever believe what other people say about your man as a woman. I know it's easy to do that and to want to do that, but at the same time, it's like some women and some people just want to break up a happy home, a happy family. They want to see you single because they're in a miserable relationship, and they want to leave, but they can't. And they want to see if you gonna leave first. Just all kind of stuff. Or let's say that they're not in a relationship and you in a relationship and you making it work, and they don't have the patience to make it work, so they not in a relationship, and so they want you to admit to it, and be like, okay, you're not perfect. Because I've done that before. It's like, I mean, I really don't feel like a lot of relationships are perfect. And that just is what it is. But I do commend those people who do try to stick it out, because it's so easy to give up, and it's fun to give up. And in some cases, you can learn a lot from giving up, as well as you can learn a lot from sticking it out. So in weighing the pros and cons in a situation, you got to just think about everything as a whole. Okay, what about my family? What about my friends? What about me? What about my house, my car, my kids, my job? And how is this going to affect me in the future? How is this going to affect me now? So at the end of the day, who's not to say she didn't think about this, think about that, planning this, planning that? We don't know. Or maybe they made amends. Maybe they had a lot of conversations where they came to Jesus, or they just like, you know what? I need this from you. You need that from me. I need this, and I like to see this. And maybe they came and made amends. We just never know, because too often we're so used to seeing people fail, relationships fail, because hey, it runs rampant, right? Most relationships end, and those who do make it to marriages, a lot of them end. So at the end of the day, it's like when people are in a relationship, we try to pinpoint and pick on what they may have going on, when in reality, most relationships have something going on, or working towards something, or something is just not quite there. But at the end of the day, that can be a growth situation. You put your ego aside, you put this aside, and be like, look, let's communicate. Let's talk this out. Let's work this out. Or even because I care about you enough to see through your pain, see through your hurt, see through your turmoil, see through what you did to me, and realize it was nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with you. And so you got to fix you before you be able to do anything and be anything for me. So, so I feel like instead of, waiting to see if she's going to end it, split up, fall, just enjoy whatever they put out, because they're just living in and making it just like most relationships out here. And just because you don't see a person has cheated, or find out about people cheating in other relationships, not just Clarence and Queen, talk about relationships in general, doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And they stuck it out and play. Or just because you don't hear people talking about being cheated on and sticking it out, doesn't mean that people don't stay in relationships and they've been cheated on. A lot of stuff happens behind the scenes that people don't talk about. A lot of things go on that people don't articulate. And it's just a personal preference. But either way, people are going to talk, people are going to speculate, people are going to give their opinion on other people's life, because they can. It's entertaining, it's engaging. It just is what it is. But at the end of the day, you got to make those important decisions in your life, because nobody else is going to live your life but you. Break to the dawn. We chrome, sitting on the dome. We home. DK, his house is on our zone. DK, his house, Pertion. Sipping on that pearly, white millet Merle. Sipping on that pearly, ooh, she dirty.